In this video, we'll take a quick tour of Tonic Textual, which you can use to protect sensitive values in unstructured files. To protect those sensitive values, Textual offers datasets, which replace the text of sensitive values, and guided redaction, which blocks out sensitive content. Both operate on sets of files that you either upload from a local system or select from a cloud storage solution. For example, you might use a dataset when you have a large volume of files that contain customer support conversations and case notes, and that you want to use for analysis or to train an LLM. However, those files contain values such as names, addresses, and identifiers that you cannot expose. A textual dataset produces transform files that are both realistic and safe to use. On the other hand, you might use guided redaction if you work for a government entity that sends files in response to Freedom of Information Act requests. Before you can send the files, you must ensure that all sensitive content is blocked. Guided redaction produces PDFs that cover the sensitive content with boxes. For both datasets and guided redaction, Textual scans the files for sensitive values called entities. Each entity belongs to an entity type. Built-in entity types come with Textual and include values such as names, identifiers, dates, credit card information, and more. Textual uses AI models to identify them. You can also define custom entity types to allow Textual to identify other types of values. Custom entity types can match values based on regular expressions or use a trained model to detect values. Within a dataset or a guided redaction project, to fine-tune the scan results, you can enable and disable specific custom entity types. For built-in types, you can add other values for Textual to look for and exclude values that it identifies incorrectly. To preview Textual entity detection and replacement, on the home page, add some text or upload a file. For a dataset, the details include the dataset files, the entity type detection results, and the replacement configuration. You can view the list of detected values for each entity type. You also configure how Textual replaces the values for each entity type. You can either replace the value with the entity type plus a unique identifier, generate a realistic replacement, ignore those types of values and pass them through as is to the output files. After you complete the configuration, you download, for local files, or generate, for cloud storage, the output files. Guided redaction starts with the redaction process. Within each file, you can adjust the results from Textual's initial scan. You can add redactions of selected text, a selected area, or an entire page. Each redaction can be tied to reference codes that you define. The review process verifies the redactions and marks them as reviewed. Finally, you can preview and download the redacted output. Textual also provides a Python SDK that you can use to redact text in files and manage datasets. To recap, Textual scans files to identify sensitive values, called entities. Textual supports both built-in and custom entity types. Files can come from local file system or cloud storage. Datasets create transform files that replace the entity values with realistic values or the entity type name. Guided redaction projects generate output files that hide sensitive content under colored boxes. You can use the Textual Python SDK for redaction and dataset management. And that concludes our introduction to Tonic Textual. To learn more, check out our Tonic Textual demo videos, our blogs, and the Tonic Textual user documentation.